Hi everybody, I'm Rockin' Robin, and in today's episode I'm going to be showing you how to make some homemade chicken soup. And we're going to be using a whole chicken to do this, and I'm going to be adding tons of vegetables. So this recipe is really healthy and it really tastes delicious. It's one of my very favorites and I make it every few months or so. I'm also not going to be using any MSG. Now, a lot of recipes that I've seen call for using bouillon cubes and whatnot, and that contains MSG unless it says it doesn't. So I personally don't like to eat that, and I don't like to serve it to anybody. So I'm going to show you how to do it without using that, and I'll be right back to show you how to do it. So before I go over the ingredients with you, I just want to mention that this recipe is very flexible. Now you can add anything, any kind of vegetables you like. So what I'm going to show you today is what I'm going to make, but if you don't like a particular vegetable that you see here, leave it out. If you have some in your refrigerator that you want to use up, add it in. It doesn't really matter. So it's just, I like a lot of vegetables. I've got things growing in my garden that I'm going to be using. So, it's, like I said, very, very flexible. So have fun with it. All right, so now let's go over those ingredients. Okay, so the main star of our show, of course, is our chicken. Now, I happen to have a very large chicken here. This is almost 5 pounds. And I like to use organic when I can find it, but today I'm using Foster Farms. All right, so I'm going to be adding onion. Onion is really important for this recipe, I think, and if you've watched my other videos, you know that I'm going to be dicing that up really fine. I'm going to add also some red potatoes, and I'm going to add a sweet potato. And I'm going to add a little bit of rice, probably about a cup, and I have some frozen peas here, and this is out of my garden, this zucchini, so I'm going to throw that in. And we're going to need some celery and carrots. And over here I've got a combination of basil and flat leaf Italian parsley. This is growing in my garden, so I love to add this. If you don't have it, I've made soup plenty of times without it. It's still fantastic. But if you have it, go ahead and use it. It'll really make it even better. And the last thing that I'm probably going to add here are some green beans that I just purchased at the store. I'm going to clean those up. I'll show you how to do it, and I'll just chop them up into bite-sized pieces. And we're going to be adding a little bit of salt. That's it. The first thing you're going to want to do is place your chicken into a large pot and cover it with water. About like that. And don't worry about rinsing your chicken. There is a concern, most chickens have salmonella, and when you start rinsing your chicken, you're splattering water everywhere. And you're spreading that germ around. And so it's better, they say, just to put it in the pot and let it boil. So I've got my chicken in the pot, on the stove. I turn the flame on. I'm going to get this to boil quickly. Once it comes to a boil, then I'm going to turn it down so that it just simmers. It's a light boil. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. So while we're waiting for the chicken water to come to a boil, now's when you get to chop up your celery and your onions, because we want to put that in right away as soon as it starts to boil. So with the celery, I'll show you real quick. I wash this. Oh, and by the way, make sure you wash your hands after you touch your chicken so you're not spreading anything around. Okay, so with the celery, I line it up and just dice it up. Here's my chopped celery. This is about how I like to have it, and I'm going to place this in a bowl. So while I'm cutting this up, I do want to mention what I like to do is I'm going to be adding all of the vegetables real quick here because the only ones I'm going to leave out are the frozen peas and the zucchini, because they don't take that much time to soften up, and I don't want them to get mushy. But everything else, pretty much, we're going to prep it up and toss it right in the pot, because, like I said, it's only going to cook for about 45 minutes. Like I said, I like a very fine dice with this because I personally just don't like big chunks of onion. Now what I like to do with my onions to help cut down on the tears a little bit is I store mine in the refrigerator, and that does seem to help. Now that I have the onion and the celery chopped up, I'm going to go ahead and add it to the chicken. You can see it started to boil. So gently pour that in. Now I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit because it's starting to boil, and I'm going to leave the lid on partially. I'm going to go back and chop up the rest of our ingredients. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel the sweet potato. So I'll just cut the sweet potato in maybe 1/2 inch or so thick slices. Alright, so once you get them sliced, and then basically the other way, just, you know, nice little chunks. Something like that. That's perfect. Next we move on to the carrots. And if you find that some of these are a little big, you can cut them in half if you like. My potatoes are organic as well, so I'm not going to peel them. So we just cut these into chunks. Now it's time to add our sweet potatoes, carrots, and potatoes. Now be really careful when you add this because it tends to want to jump up at you because these are kind of chunky. You can take a spoon and set them in. That might be the safest way to do it. Just set it in gently. Now if you want to add pasta to this, you can. I'm going to add the rice. Just about a cup, and you can see I've got quite a big pot of soup here. I'm going to leave the lid off now for a while so some of the water can cook down a little bit. And remember, we're going to cook this for about 45 minutes total. The longer, the better, the more the chicken flavor you're going to get out of it if you do that. So it's a good idea to go as long as you can. You know, if you're in a rush, well, you can go 30 and get by. But if you could go 45, even an hour would be even better. So we're going to let this go, and we're going to finish chopping up the rest of our ingredients. Now let's work on the green beans. I've rinsed them already. I'm just going to snap off the ends. Once you snap off all the ends, go through and chop off or cut off any ends that just don't look appetizing, because some of these don't. Just like that. We'll toss them in the bowl over here. With the basil leaves, I'm going to stack them up and use the French technique called chiffonade. And so you stack them on top of each other, roll it up nice and tight. I don't know why I like this, but I just love this particular technique. I just find it kind of fun to do. So just make slices into it like that, and I usually go the other direction so that I don't have big long strings of basil. And now let's work on the parsley. So I've taken off most of the stems here and just want to use the leaves, and I'm just going to give this a little chop. So just run your knife through it. Be very careful. Let's add our green beans and our herbs to this. Look at that, it's beautiful. And we're going to just let this simmer away. And you'll notice here, if you get this foam on top, after a while, probably another 15 minutes or so, if you want to, you know, scoop some of that out, you can. But we're just going to let this continue to simmer, probably for another 25 minutes or so. As soon as that chicken starts to fall off the bone, I'll go ahead and pull it out, and then we'll need to let it cool for a bit. I'll take the skin and the bones off, and we'll put the chicken back in the soup. The chicken has been cooking for about almost an hour now, and so I'm going to show you how to take it out of the pot without getting burnt. So it should be, you got 2 spoons here. I'm placing one into the cavity of the chicken. That way I can get a good grip on it, and the other one back here is for support. So you want to hold it up. You can see that hopefully that leg won't fall off, because if it falls off, I'm going to get splattered. So let it drain a little bit. And then I have a 9x13 right here that I'm going to place the chicken into. We're ready to add our final ingredients at this point. And that would be our homegrown zucchini. So I'm going to drop that in. I wasn't kidding when I told you that I like a lot of vegetables in my chicken soup, did I? Yeah, so here we go with the... I'm probably only going to add half a bag here of the peas. Add however many you like. If you love peas, go for it. I like to stir it, kind of see how things are, you know, evening out here. And now's the time I'm going to add some salt. I haven't done any salt yet. And, you know, this is totally to taste, okay, because there's no salt in this at all. So add some salt. a couple tablespoons maybe, and then give it a taste. So how to clean chicken, basically I call it cleaning chicken. You're not really cleaning it, you're deboning it and taking the skin off. But that's what we used to always say when we had a restaurant. Oh, let's clean the chicken. So let it cool as much as you can. And basically you're just going to pull off the skin. Take your knife and you're just going to make chunks out of it. You know, bite-sized chunks. We're down to our last addition, which is our chicken. All right, I cut it all up. And you want to gently place it into your soup so that it doesn't splatter up on you when you drop it in. Our soup is done and it is piping hot, let me tell you. Here it is, have a look at this. You can see all the vegetables and the steam rising, of course. And it is delicious. It is really hot. That is so good. What a comfort food. And great if you have a cold. They say that chicken soup is one of the best things you can eat for it. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out. I hope you'll try this recipe. If you do, leave me a comment and let me know how you liked it. All right, well, thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe to my channel and share this with anybody you know, all your friends on Facebook or Pinterest or whatever. That helps me a lot. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.